When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
At Thales, we know cybersecurity can be tough and you can't protect everything, but with Thales, you can secure what matters most. With Thales industry-leading platforms, you can protect critical applications, data, and identities, anywhere and at scale with the highest ROI. That's why the most trusted brands and largest banks, retailers, and healthcare companies in the world rely on Thales to protect what matters most: applications, data, and identities. That's Thales, Thales. Learn more at thalesgroup.com/cyber.
Hello folks, it's Gareth. Welcome along to Somewhere on Earth. It's Tuesday, the 26th of August, 2025. And joining me today is the excellent Anya. Hello, Anya.
Hello, Gareth. How are you?
All good, thank you.
Well, I've been kind of keeping across some of the comments this week of our new pontiff. Pope Leo has told the Vatican's first mass for Catholic social media influencers that human dignity needs to be protected online as the world faces the challenge of artificial intelligence. Now, I didn't know that we had social media influencer masses, but I do now. He seems to have been quite vocal. I don't know if you've noticed, Gareth, since he took up his position, since he was chosen in May.
Yeah, I have noticed, yes. Much more prepared to put one's head above the parapet and speak quite often on quite controversial issues. So, yeah, it's quite enlivening.
Yeah, he said we have a duty to work together to develop a way of thinking, to develop a language of our time that gives voice to love. And so, yeah. He seems to be speaking to a young social media influencer generation.
Yeah, and now we even have a social media saint, don't we?
Well, he's not quite there yet. He's going to be canonised apparently in September. But this is Carlo Acutis, who is a British-born Italian teenager. He died in 2006 at the age of 15. But he actually created a website documenting miracles, Eucharistic miracles actually, and is nicknamed the patron saint of the internet. So soon to be. Watch this space, watch the internet space, and he will be canonised.
Marvellous. Thank you for that. We'll keep an eye out. Thanks very much, Anya. And also coming up today, we are talking about mobile phone theft and what law enforcement authorities, tech companies and governments can do about it. In the UK, the main handset manufacturers have actually fallen out with the police over how to disable phones when they're stolen. Meanwhile, though, in Brazil, where phone theft is massive, a chord seems to have broken out between the main players. The result, a number of schemes that protect mobile phone owners, and they foil the thieves. That's all right here on the Somewhere on Earth podcast. Right, so let's meet our guests. First up, Ronnie Salvatore joining us from Brazil. So, Ronnie, tell me about you. Name and title, as we often say in podcasting.
My name is Ronnie Salvatore. I am the coordinator for technological integration at Brazil's Ministry of Justice and Public Security. For near a year now, I have been leading the Celular Seguro program, literally Safe Mobile, a national-wide initiative launched by the Brazilian federal government to combat mobile phone theft and safeguard citizen personal data.
Absolutely, and we'll hear more about this scheme as we go along, but it's great to have you on the podcast, Ronnie, talking to us there from the Ministry of Justice in Brazil, who are working with the National Telecommunications Agency, Anatel, on this kind of project, this scheme to combat mobile phone theft, as we'll hear. But let's meet our other guest, also joining us from Brazil, Geraldo Manso Palmeira. But I think I can just say Geraldo Palmeira, can't I? Geraldo, welcome to Somewhere on Earth. So tell me about you.
Hi, Garrett. Good morning. Hi, Anya, Ronnie. My name is Geraldo Palmeira. I work as an executive head of delivery on Qintess. That is actually a partner of Minister of Justice on software development. And we work together developing the safe mobile phone with Ronnie.
Okay, well, that sounds great. So Qintess, technology company, Sao Paulo-based. And as you said there, Geraldo, you're working with the government, with the Ministry of Justice and other partners, but you're like the industry prong of this project. So,
yeah.
Okay, now... Good. Right. So we've established who we all are and we've already met Anya. So I'm going to lead into this. So I know we've teased ahead that there's this brilliant project going on in Brazil that is going to bring down mobile phone theft. That's very much the plan. But I think we need to kind of ease ourselves into the subject a little bit with a bit of background. And one thing I want to get out of the way is what a phone's IMEI is. So I know it's the IMEI. That's how we say it, is it? So the phone's IMEI is its International Mobile Equipment Identity, and even I know that that's how the phone identifies itself on the network. So just tell me, because we're going to talk a lot about the IMEI, this number. So who wants to tell me about that?
So IMEI, it's a global ID of the mobile phone. So by this number, we're able to locate this phone or like block this register and connect with which SIM card it's using this mobile phone. So it's a global ID.
Right. So it's a 15-digit code, isn't it? So it's effectively burnt into the phone then. So regardless of your carrier or your SIM card or anything, that's just anytime the phone does anything with any network, it's the 15-digit code. The IMEI is what the phone uses to identify itself then, is it?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, that's good, because we need to understand that, because you might think that if we're trying to foil mobile phone theft, if we could just disable that IMEI number somehow and make it impossible for the phone to register itself on the network, boom, we solved it, you know? But it turns out not to be quite as easy as that, which is why I'm going to turn to you, Anya, to tell us why disagreement has been breaking out in the UK between the tech companies, between Apple and Google, who are, of course, big handset manufacturers, between them and the UK authorities. What's going on there?
Well, phone theft is on the rise across the UK, particularly in cities, especially London. The Metropolitan Police Force, so they're the London-based police force, have asked the big phone companies to block the stolen phones using the IMEI number. They argue that phone theft drives violence. 70% of knife crimes are linked to robbery, and knife crime is a huge problem in the UK's capital, particularly when it comes to young people. And that blocking stolen phones with IMEI would disrupt the 50 million a year black market, especially since 75% of stolen phones are shipped abroad. About 28% of those go to China and Hong Kong, by the way. Now, currently the stolen phone can be blocked in the UK, but it still can be used in some other countries if a criminal is able to bypass the device's security. Some of them can also be broken down into parts, so your phone can be taken apart and those parts sold. So it's not a perfect solution.
Okay, so not as easy as just kind of knocking out the IMEI number then, which I'd have thought it would have been. I thought this was going to be a very short podcast, but it turns out it's not as easy as that. So what's this disagreement going on then between the Metropolitan Police and Apple and Google?
Well, Apple and Google don't agree with the Met Police's request. Apple fears that fraud, so fake owners, in inverted commas, could request block. So someone could call and say, hey, could you block this IMEI because, my phone's been stolen, and it's not actually you doing it, and you will end up with a blocked phone. And it emphasises that they've actually installed new protection measures, including their existing activation lock and stolen device protection to protect its customers. Google says IMEI databases are managed by carriers, requiring an industry-wide solution, and highlights its theft detection lock for Android. Now, Google is suggesting that improving factory reset protection and collaboration across the industry is the way forward. There's been a discussion about this within the UK Parliament, and members of the Science, Technology and Innovation Committee have accused Apple and Google of dragging their feet on this.
Ooh, okay, so it's all getting a bit messy in the UK. And meanwhile, handsets continue to be stolen. You can look up online. There are just tons of videos of kids. We shouldn't just single out kids, but you know what I mean? They tend to look like younger people, you know, the hoodie type on a e-scooter, usually on a pavement, just kind of sneaking up behind somebody, and they just help themselves to the mobile phone. And of course, with the e-scooter or one of those e-bikes, they get away very quickly and easily. It's going on, and it's just awful. You know, certainly speaking as a citizen of the great city of London myself, you know, if I'm walking down the street in London and I need to look at my phone for some reason, then I'll actually go into a shop and get away from the street, because I don't want to have my phone out lest it be stolen. Right, so that's the UK situation. I know that mobile phone theft is a big problem in Brazil. So let's go back there and talk to you again, Ronnie. We've already established you're with the Ministry of Justice over there, and one of the partners in this programme, in this scheme, the Secure Cellular Programme. So can you just outline what that programme is, please?
And Celular Seguro, literally Safe Mobile, is a nationwide digital security program that launched in Brazil Ministry of Justice and Public Security in December 2023. It allows citizens to remote block mobile phones, SIM cards, and bank apps, and in event of theft, robbery, or loss. In part of Brazil, growing push of digital public safety and consumer protection to reduce mobile-related crime. The system has been continuously evolving through a strategic partnership with the software development team at Qintess, a technology company support the Ministry of Justice to improve the Celular Seguro platform. Today, the platform has over 3.1 million registered users and about 2,500,000 phones already linked to the system. So far, the system has issued approximately 150,000 alerts nationwide.
Okay, right. So it's already very much up and running. So, Geraldo, you're one of the people who's been leading on the technology here at the technology firm Qintess. So, can you tell me what the technology is? Like, is it an app that people install on their phone? How does it work?
Yeah, actually it is. We have a mobile app and a desktop solution as well. So we can manage all the solution in Ministry of Justice. Actually, Ministry of Justice brought to us a very clever solution. We have two different types of solutions to handle this kind of incidents. One is completely block the telephone, disable the IMEI and the SIM card all over Brazil. And the other one is a recovery mode. So we can allow users to send a signal to temporarily block the phone. And if someone finds it or wants to return to police stations, we block just the access to internet banking and digital wallets or sensitive apps to keep the IMEI active for a while. And these options ideal when there is a chance of recovering the device will allow to reactivation, because with blocking the IMEI, it's very complicated, and after that it's most difficult to unblock this IMEI over Brazil. So we got to these two kind of solutions.
Right. So you mean that you found a technological solution that avoids having to lock that IMEI number that we were talking about, that serial number burnt into the phone that we were talking about at the beginning then?
Yeah. Ministry launched this program in 2023, as Ronnie mentioned before. And we have a lot of partners on this program as well, like Federation of Banks and Telecoms, National Agency of Telecom in Brazil, called Anatel.
Okay, yeah, so that's Anatel then, the National Telecommunications Agency.
Perfect. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay. So the main thing you're getting across here is that this is very much a partnership, so you're the technology partner here, or one of them, and you're working with the carriers, with basically a whole load of people who are involved, and organisations just involved in anything to do with mobile phones and security, banking, what have you. So just to help me out with the technology itself, so we've already established then that you're not disabling that IMEI number. So you're kind of getting around this big argument that seems to be going on in the UK about whether or not blocking the IMEI is the way to go. I get that. So somebody puts this app on their handset. They can, or you can, as you say, you can do this from the desktop as well. You nominate a person, don't you, like a trusted person who can trigger the service. So if the phone is stolen, because the obvious technical problem here is now you don't have your phone anymore, so you don't have any means of raising the alarm. So tell me how the trusted person comes into this.
So using the application installed on this trusted person, we were able to block entirely your IMEI, or just to communicate Ministry of Justice that your phone is lost. So Ministry of Justice send messages through Anatel and bank institutions over Brazil to block digital wallets, money transfers, until this money is recovered. If someone picks this phone or found this phone and put another SIM card on it, Ministry of Justice send a message through WhatsApp, for example, and say, politely message, say, hey, this phone is lost, so can you please return it back in the near police station? And if someone returns it, the Ministry of Justice understands someone's already found it, so that's okay. If someone's continuing using it, this goes through investigation of Minister of Justice, right, Ronnie?
Yeah, okay, Ronnie, yeah, tell me about that then. So, you send this slightly scary message to the thief saying, we kind of know what you're doing here. This is not a WhatsApp you wanted to receive from the Ministry of Justice. But, so what happens then? How do you then, help to track the phone or to deter the thief from using it anymore?
And the first experience that this model was adopted right now, because the pilot project to fight mobile phone thefts, robbery and loss, a pilot program was launched by state of Piauí here in Brazil, that quickly became a model for entire country. And just the first 6 months, 2000 and 2003. The program led voluntary returning about 8,000 devices to police. That's right, the 8,000 phones handed over without the need to direct enforcement, just because the message. But it's a different message that's sent by Piauí and the Minister of Justice is more informative, the Minister of Justice. And for the law enforcement police, the message is more contundent. But even more impressive, the number of related incidents dropped to 38% compared to previous semester, showing a real impact of this public strategy. Not so the scary message, because we talk that new users that often considered as secondary victims, as many of them unknowingly purchase stolen phones for informal markets. Yeah. Importantly, the number of voluntary returning stolen phones have been significantly showing that the strategy is not helped to recover the vaults, but it's also disrupted the resale market that rise public alerts.
Okay, so this is people, the thief might voluntarily give the phone back, but would they hand it into the police? Are they worried they're going to be arrested if they hand the phone in? No. Really? They just want to get rid of it.
You bring back, but really nothing happened to you.
Yeah.
Actually,
that nothing happened to you. You are a secondary victim.
Yeah, Geraldo.
Yeah, actually, I think in Carnival, Ronnie, most of the phones were returned right to the real owner, right?
Right, it's a great event. With great events, the numbers of the related alert is increased.
Yeah, Anya.
So can I ask now that, so as I understand it, so you might have your phone stolen and someone else might have it. They might not necessarily be the thief, though. They might have bought it off someone in good faith thinking, hey, this sounds like a good deal. I need a new phone. I've bought it. Then they get the message. So that's why they're the secondary victim. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. If you don't know, you don't know if you do. We found that we buy in second market at, for example, I don't know if in UK, but in Brazil, it's very common you buy a phone in the secondary market, and sometimes you don't. You have to check right now because we developed a new way to check. We call right now since December 24th, Será Seguro platform in partnership with Anatel begins offering a new servicing through the web platform Será Seguro to public, a tool for checking whether a mobile device has a restriction. Citizens can now verify using the phone, the email number, whether device they intend to buy, especially for informal marketing, has been flagged by Será Seguro mobile carriers or police reports. More recently, in the past month, the federal government launched the National Registry in Restricted Mobile Phones. A database will combine three main sources: the Será Seguro database, the National Registered Block Mobile Station maintained by Anatel, and National Database of Police Reports.
So you can be pretty confident that you can check the phone, you're in the market, you can check, not touching this one is telling me it's stolen. So the system's now in place for people to check that.
Yeah, exactly. So before you buy a mobile phone from the internet, for example, you're able to check if the email that we were talking about has some restriction on the national database.
Heather is a nurse practitioner from United Healthcare.
We meet patients wherever they live.
During a house call, she found Jack had an issue.
Jack's blood pressure was dangerously high.
It was 217 over 110.
So they got Jack to the hospital and got him the help he needed.
He had a stent placed in his heart, preventing a massive heart attack.
If it wasn't for my guardian angel, I wouldn't be here.
Hear more stories like Jack's at unitedhealthcare.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan, area, limitation, and exclusions apply.
So, Anya, what about advice then for people to avoid having their phone stolen in the first place?
Well, you mentioned one thing is be aware of your surroundings, Gareth. You know, you said you kind of walk off the street, you go into a shop. So that's quite good, because if you're out in a noisy street, particularly if you've got the handset to your ear, you're not as aware of what's happening around you. And so therefore it's potentially easier to steal. The Metropolitan Police also advise going hands-free can prevent a thief from snatching your phone out of your hand. You're slightly more aware when it's there. It's really important to use the security features on your phone. So if you have a keypad lock, which most smartphones will do, then use that. If you have biometric authentication, that's really important. So your face or your fingerprint. And remember, that biometric information is stored locally, so it's only on that phone. It's not given away to anybody else. You're not, giving your facial features away to some multinational by doing that. It is just local. So don't be afraid to use that. You could have other security features like a way of remotely wiping your data, locking your handset, and even preventing a thief from restoring factory settings. If they can't do that, then the phone becomes pretty useless to sell on, because it will have your information and the other person won't be able to use it. And then consider installing an anti-theft app. So that can help you trace your phone, the police trace your phone, and even potentially the identity of the thief. But make sure you can access this remotely. There's no point in just having it on your phone, because that disappears. We, for instance, have a family group, so all our family phones are all together, and then if one of us were to lose one, it's quite easy to find then. So someone else in the group can do that. And also know how to identify your phone, the IMEI number. Write it down, take a photo of it, store it in the cloud so you have a copy. To find this number in the UK, you dial *#06# hashtag from your phone, and you can keep a written note of it then. And then also register your valuables on an appropriate database. So, if it does come back to your police say, oh, whose phone is this? They can look it up on a database, just like you would with a bicycle. I know that quite a lot of countries have bike registered, so they have a bike brought in. Hey, we know who it is. It's registered to this person, and they can find it and they can call you, and that does actually work.
Excellent. So, Geraldo, just coming back to you finally for this section anyway, can you give us a sense of where this project is going? Have you pretty much finished work on this at Qintess now, or are you and your colleagues, are you upgrading it all the time and updating it and putting in new features?
Yeah, looking to technical solutions, we are developing new features for the app together with Ministry of Justice. We are bringing more apps to go into this solution. So if you want to block, for example, your app and with this communication, so in 10 minutes if the alert comes from Ministry of Justice, your app can be blocked temporarily. So we are already integrating with financial institutions, like I mentioned before, as we are blocking, for example, digital wallets as Google Pay and Apple Pay. But everyone who wants to bring your app or your solution to this kind of temporary block, we are able to integrate with Ministry of Justice. So we keep evolving this technology, keep developing APIs and technology solutions so we can integrate with different kind of approaches.
So, Ronnie, finally from you, this is a lovely collaboration between you at the Ministry of Justice and with Qintess and your various other partners. How important has that been, that collaborative approach, getting you all on board, probably with some disagreements in formulating this project, but finding a way through and rolling it out, and it's now benefiting people all over Brazil. Just how significant has this partnership been?
Between Minister of Justice and the Qintess, I have a praise to do, because the relationship is very, very nice, and the people, the team is very clever. But the others partnership, sometimes in the some kind of information that we cannot show, and sometimes we need to a court to do information that is not classified information. At this point, we have some kind of disagreement in between institutions, but not at all. The major of the solutions, the people agree that we have to share to improve the solution. So this collaborative paradigm of this project is mainly the core to worth.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, and yeah, certainly to me, it seems like a really lovely collaboration between lots of different partners across industry and government and finance and so on. And yeah, of course, this is complicated stuff. There'll be disagreements, but you're finding a way through. And that's the evidence of that, is that you've rolled this technology out and it's working, and Geraldo and his colleagues are continuing to develop it. So look, folks, we're going to leave it there. Hugely grateful to you both joining us there from Brazil. Ronnie Salvatore from Brazil's Ministry of Justice, and Geraldo Palmeira, who is with Qintess. And just a few little kind of things to tell you about just before we go. Remember that we are a proud partner of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Talk about a load of collaborators getting on nicely and doing great work. That's the Evergreen Network, and we're part of that, and we're very, very proud. And we're very proud of our sponsor, Roost. Thank you, Roost, for sponsoring this podcast. The production manager is Liz Tui. Of course, you've been hearing today from Anja Likterovic, and I'm Gareth Mitchell. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.